Dr. Paul, many libertarians oppose laws at all levels of government against so-called same-sex marriages and other matters such as prostitution and illegal drugs. What is your view?
Well, first off, this is a very important question because libertarian sometimes is misconstrued. Libertarian means liberty. If you believe in liberty, you're a libertarian. The best libertarians that we've ever had in this country were our founding fathers. They believed in civil liberties, economic liberties, and they believed in a non-interventionist foreign policy. They wanted peace and trade. So this is all good. But the inference here about marriage and prostitution and drugs, they never addressed it. There's no federal authority, no federal government authority, no constitutional authority to deal with those problems. There's no prohibitions for the states to do it, so that is perfectly all right. But what we as conservatives must remember, if you're willing to use the strong arm of government to regulate things that are negative, that you don't like and you find abhorrent, you set the stage for regulating your religion, your schools, and everything else, because that's the principle. The First Amendment wasn't written to protect non-controversial speech. It was written to protect controversial speech so that we don't lose our right to go to church and run our schools. This is key. On the issue of drugs, we have spent nearly $500 billion on the war on drugs since the 1970s. Total failure. Someday we have to admit it. Today we have the federal government going into states that have legal medical marijuana, arresting people, undermining state laws, arresting people who use marijuana when they're dying with cancer and AIDS, and it's done with as a conservative compassionate conservative. And it doesn't work. What it does, it removes the ability of the states to do these things, and also introduces the idea it's the federal government that will rule whether you get to take vitamins and alternative medical care or whatever. Most of our history, believe it or not, had no drug laws. Prohibition has been an absolute failure for alcohol. Drug addiction is a medical problem. It's not a problem of the law.
He has something to address to Ambassador Keyes.
Hi, Ambassador. As Ambassador to the United Nations, you must have had first-hand look at the problems that the United States faces in dealing with an organization that is racked with corruption, that has frequently undermined core American values such as parental rights and the freedom of our soldiers and leaders from standing trial in international criminal courts. My question to you is this. You seem to remain a supporter of the United Nations, even though a great many conservatives are not. Do you feel the U.S. is served by its continued participation in the UN?
First, let me make one thing very clear. I've never been a supporter, per se, of the United Nations. In fact, policies that you describe, in which we withheld funds from the United Nations, tried